Version 9.8.1 of GastroPlus is an updated version of our flagship PBPK PBBM software platform, which includes new features and bug fixes. The major enhancement in GastroPlus version 9.8.1 is the increased complexity, verification, and guidance in our DDI models delivered to you by our DDI task force. Available for download by users who make a request will be complete DDI validation databases, support files, and both PowerPoint and Word reports for 3A4 substrates midazolam and triazolam and 2C8 substrate ripaglinide. Also available for download will be the following perpetrators: fluconazole, validated for moderate reversible 3A4 inhibition; ketoconazole, validated for strong 3A4 reversible and irreversible inhibition; voriconazole, validated for strong reversible and irreversible 3A4 inhibition; and rifampicin, validated for strong induction of 3A4, 2C8 and 2C9. Many other DDI mechanisms are included in the perpetrator tables, and additional validation documentation will be released as it becomes available from the DDI task force. In addition, you will see a new column in the perpetrator table titled Validated, and this highlights the validated entries. In the spirit of open science, we supply all the available inhibition and induction constants, and now we clearly identify the values that have been validated by our DDI experts for use in your simulations. Version 9.8 saw many improvements to virtual bioequivalence simulations, and version 9.8.1 continues that trend. For population simulations, we have updated the probability contours output. Previously, when running a population simulation and then creating the new plot and showing the probability contours, if you wanted to save these probability contours, you would right-click, copy data to clipboard, and when the export chart window appeared, you would navigate to the Data tab and then select Excel. Then save the data. The Excel file saved did not contain the column headers, and therefore it was complicated to determine which column reflected which probability contour. Now, in the enhanced GastroPlus version 9.8.1, after running a population simulation and then navigating to the Graph tab, selecting New Plot, and then checking Show Probability Contours, you right-click on the plot as before, copy data to clipboard, and you now simply paste into Excel, where you will see the data with column headers. We have time, mean CP time, lower 90% confidence interval, the upper 90% confidence interval, then the lower probability contour for 100%, the upper probability contour for 100%, and we have all of the lower and upper probability contours down to 10%. Sticking with population simulations, we have added units for Cmax, AUC 0 to infinity, and AUC 0 to T in the BEQ files for both individual crossover trials and for BE summaries. So once you've run your crossover trial, if you navigate to the folder where the files are saved, and then open up the individual crossover trial BEQ file in Excel, you will see there are units for Cmax, AUC 0 to infinity, and AUC 0 to T. You can also open up the BE summary BEQ file in Excel, and you will notice that the Cmax and the AUC 0 to infinity and 0 to T have units associated with them. When running a crossover trial with a complex PBPK or PBBM model, where you have the parent record linked to a metabolite record via the enzyme table, You will now be able to see the metabolite Cmax, AUC 0 to infinity and AUC 0 to T in the BEQ files for both the individual crossover trials and for the BE summaries. So once the crossover trial simulation is finished, you navigate to the folder where the files are saved and then open up the individual crossover trial BEQ file in Excel. And you can see we have the metabolite, Cmax and AUC 0 to infinity, AUC 0 to T displayed, as well as for the parent. And likewise, if you open up the summary BEQ file, the metabolite, Cmax and AUCs are displayed, as well as the parent. For inhaled compounds, lung deposition is critical in determining lung pharmacokinetics. To address this, we added the option to include variability in lung deposition in population simulations. For an inhaled record, once you select Population Simulator and the Population Simulator window opens, click on Add Select and then navigate to the Pulmonary Compound tab, where you can see that we vary the fraction of dose that's deposited in the lung compartments for the population simulation. For realistic simulations, sensible CVs should be used rather than unrealistic values. Moving away from population simulations, there have been a few enhancements when importing structures that further establish GastroPlus as the optimum PBPK platform for end-to-end PBPK modeling from discovery to the clinic. When importing structures, the default clearance model is total liver microsomes, but we now have the ability to predict clearance from hepatocyte QSAR models for both rat and human. The species is determined by the selection of the species for the gut physiology. Experimental fraction unbound in plasma, FUP, is automatically adjusted by GastroPlus for possible binding to plasma lipids, as this has been found to improve PBPK predictions, especially for KP calculations. In GastroPlus version 9.8.1, the adjusted FUP is now used for the clearance calculation in rat as well as human when importing structures with compartmental PK models.